We've moved down the road from Devil's Pulpit to Devil's Paintbrush. And as you can see, these are totally two different courses.
Yeah, there's lots of multi-course clubs in Canada, Gina, but I'm not sure that there's one with such distinct looks and variety between the two courses.
Well, another one is Laval-sur-le-Lac, and we saw its blue course, which came in on the list at number 51. And that's a Mike Weir co-design. So what do you think gives Weir his design chops anyway?
It's a good question. I think it's because he's always been a shot maker rather than someone who's relied on brute power during his playing days. And I think it's because he's well-traveled and he's gone to the likes of Augusta National and Riviera Country Club and Royal Melbourne and has a great appreciation for architecture. And I think it's because he has a like-minded design partner in Ian Andrew.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I was going to say. So.
Sure you were.
Okay, let's head to Laval-sur-le-Lac now and check out this first ever Andrew Weir creation. Over the years, some of golf's most iconic players have gone on to become course designers too. Old Tom Morris, Jack Nicklaus, Ben Crenshaw, even Tiger Woods. In this country, there's perhaps no player more iconic than 8-time PGA Tour winner and 2003 Masters champ, Mike Weir. And he's added his name to that list of designers. The diminutive left-hander has always had an affinity for architecture, and his first golf course design came to fruition in 2012 at Laval-sur-le-Lac in Quebec. Though not a brand new build, Weir and his design partner, Ian Andrew, completely overhauled the blue course at Laval. The result is terrific. However, it was by no means an easy job. The triangular piece of land on which it sits made for tough routing and was just one of the many challenges the duo encountered.
What they had was a golf course that was kind of, it was two nines from two different architects, two different architectural styles. It had a lot of bad holes, and so what they were looking for, they needed a rebuild because it wasn't very good and the bones weren't very good. It just needed to be started from scratch.
The par 71 track was predominantly laid out while Weir was still competing regularly on the PGA Tour. It forced the Brantford, Ontario-based Andrew to meet up with Weir on the road at venues like Riviera or Pebble Beach to collaborate. Being at those historic tracks and others provided plenty of inspiration. Case in point, the abundant short grass employed around Laval's greens, something both Weir and Andrew admire about past President's Cup host Royal Melbourne in Australia.
The golf around Melbourne, the Sandbelt, features no rough. So even around the bunkers, there's an absence of rough. So the idea is the ground game's in play and creativity's in play, but the other thing is if you remove all the rough around green sites, the miss becomes much worse because the ball gets away.
Their philosophy on green surrounds continued onto the putting surfaces as well. Contours and undulations are significant and form the layout's primary defense. With the possibility of Laval one day hosting the Canadian Open in the back of their minds, Andrew and Weir didn't want to beat pros up, but they did want them to have to solve some puzzles with the putter. Andrew and Weir are firm believers that this design trait doesn't subtract from the course's playability though, as high handicappers benefit from the course's relative openness off the tee.
Off the tee, it's very wide. There's very few fairway bunkers. We allowed the land itself to dictate a lot of positional play and even some of the tree lines to dictate the need to move the ball a little bit. But all the trouble comes at the greens, and the greens fall off at the edges. They're very highly contoured, they're very pitchy from back to front a lot. Some of them even fall from front to back, and that was our mindset, that all the trouble begins when you attack.
Most of the course's mammoth makeover came on the back nine. A large ridge was shaped into the landscape to convert what was essentially a flat piece of land into a more rolling stretch. Andrew thinks it was the single most important decision he and Weir made. It also created a distinct look from the holes on the front nine.
The key for me was trying to figure out a routing that provided balance between the nines, but the other thing was there was a spot of 4 holes that were very uninteresting, and we actually moved a bit of earth to make something interesting from something that wasn't, and that's the middle stretch of particularly 11 and 12. And the 11th hole has become my favorite hole because that green side I think is pretty spectacular, and considering there was nothing there, I think it's an achievement.
The rebuild of Laval's blue course has certainly been well received, so much so that it's catapulted past its sister green course and inside the top 60 on our ranking of Canada's 100 best. Not a bad debut for a design team that clearly appreciates creativity and playability, two traits that make playing it very fun.